shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from Tennessee and the reloading room in Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of Dolly Parton, Davy Crockett, Alvin York, and let's not forget Jack Daniels. How's that? Yeah, I thought I'd ramble with you a little bit here in the reloading room. Found a spot to put the recorder where I clean guns, wiped off any ballistol that was left, which not much. It soaks into the wood, you know. Stuff's great for wood, leather, metal, whatever. But anyway, I am here, and I was just in the mood to chat a little bit. Had some time. John's going to come over in a little bit. We're going to maybe work on a video or two. So I thought I'd just chat with you a little bit about a few things, maybe, if I can think of something to chat about. Hadn't done it for a couple of weeks. So, let's see what we have on the agenda here. Well, I'm not sure what all is on the agenda, but since I have 2 or 3 firearms out here, let's talk about them. I decided on the last show that I wouldn't do the little guess what gun it is kind of thing. I'm not sure that made a lot of sense since we changed the format. And so I'll just talk about a gun or two maybe, and let you know what I'm fondling as I contemplate my next stupid statement here on the radio show. So anyway, one reason I was interested in talking and sharing with you, I hate to keep all this cool stuff to myself. It's one reason to do videos. I have in my hand a firearm here you've not seen yet, at least on our channel, and it is something you will see. All goes well pretty soon, or not, before too long. I don't know when we'll post, or even do the video, but I have in my at my fingertips here, in my hands, a Schmidt-Rubin 1911 carbine. Some of you know what that is. Others think, okay, whatever that might be. But anyway, since you're listening to this rambling, you actually clicked on something called a radio show that's not really a radio show, in a video format that's not really a video. You deserve something. You deserve somebody to send you a check, probably, don't you? Well, you get a few the insider bits and pieces if you listen to these crazy things. So I thought I'd let you know ahead of time that you will be seeing another, it's a bolt action, just a different sort of bolt action. Those of you who are familiar with these guns and who know a whole lot more about them than I do, have a mental picture of it already, of course. And it is a vintage 1927. But if you're familiar with any of the Swiss rifles, it's the Schmidt-Rubin rifles, what started in 1889 on up through 1957, and were even used in some services, I think, into the 70s. So I believe it's the longest running bolt gun in use, or that was used for the longest period of time. But it's very, very unique, and I'm anxious to do a video with it. It's a really interesting rifle. It's a straight pull design where you just pull straight back on a bolt. You don't crank it up as with your traditional bolt action rifles. Well, I say traditional. Going back to 1889 sounds pretty traditional, doesn't it? But it is a straight pull, and it has a camming action where, go ahead and work it. Pull back, pull straight forward, push and pull. Very interesting. It has a big ring steps, out the back. That's your safety and everything. Firing pin. I don't even know if it's attached to it, to tell you the truth. I haven't taken the bolt apart, but just for those who maybe have seen them at gun shows or somewhere, it's very distinctive looking. If you've seen one, you would recognize it. Really not to be confused with anything else, other than one of the other versions of it. There were some differences, but the distinguishing feature is the bolt handle and the ring at the back. But anyway, very interesting gun. Looking forward to the shooting. I've taken 6 shots with it. It was lent to us by the same fella who lent us the the Krag rifle, and so I am blessed to have a couple of really nice bolt guns. I have it out here too. In fact, we may do a close-up with it today. I'm not sure. Before we let these beauties get away, we want to do a couple of videos with each one probably. This Krag I'm fondling right now is just an amazing gun. Open it up. Yeah, hope you saw that video. In fact, as I speak at you, I believe it's the most recent video posted. So it won't be for long. We'll probably post something else today or tomorrow. But that is just a gorgeous rifle, and I'm glad the video turned out pretty well. I mean, and, you know, in terms of what we do, obviously we have kind of a reality show going and unedited, so nothing's perfect. But we don't post them if they're stupid or don't come out what we want, of course. But some are better than others, and you just feel like that's good. That's a good look at that rifle, and John did exceptional camera work. I didn't say anything too stupid. That's, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So we're pleased that video looks good. I mean, I like to watch it myself. The first part of it, I just really like the Krag and see that action. It's pretty cool. It's neat to get that in video, because I don't know if I'll ever buy a Krag or not, or if I'll ever have one. I don't know. I'd like to have this one. It's pretty neat. I could leave the country with these guns, right? Think anybody'd find me? But I guess I better not leave the country. Since we have more firearms freedom than most countries, I better not do that. But anyway, I got a couple of really cool bolt guns here in hand, and leaning up against the reloading bench. Of course, I have a reloading bench. I don't know if you recall from seeing the videos. I have done actually some reloading videos about the extent that I'm going to do them, at least for now. As I've said before, I cannot, in addition to everything else, be the reloading guru. I already get way more questions about that than I can answer, and I just can't add that to the mix, really. You've got to study that on your own and figure that out on your own, pretty much. But I do have my bench here at, it's about waist high for me, which is pretty high, right? So I rest these rifles up. A lot of rifles won't quite reach the bench somehow, but these two do. And really interesting firearms. There's just something about these historical firearms like this. I know some people think a bolt gun's a boring gun, like a revolver. But the more you learn about firearms, I believe, the more you like these bolt guns and these lever guns and that thing. My guess is that the progression most people follow, not everybody. Depends on whether or not you were really raised with firearms, I think. But if your parents were not into guns and you just sort of got interested watching all the shoot 'em ups on TV, it's understandable that a young person would be fascinated with fully automatic fire and the high capacity pistols and all that kind of thing, of course. And then later perhaps develop an appreciation or an interest in some of these other firearms and in the history. And again, I think people tend to develop more of an appreciation for history as they age. Not that it's an old man thing. I'm not saying that. I just, I don't know. You have to maybe have a little history of your own before you begin to appreciate things from the past. You need a little past of your own, perhaps. I don't know. But that's the way it's been with me. It really has. So. But I like these old bolt guns, and then the history of them. I've been reading a little bit about the Swiss and things I didn't know, and it's hard to imagine something I wouldn't know already, right? But that's the other thing about the Swiss rifles, is that history of Switzerland and their tradition of neutrality, where they just mind their own business. They arm everybody. Everybody's got a rifle at the house, knows how to use it, has been trained in the military, kind of like the Israelis, and don't mess with us. We're not going to bother you, don't you bother us. I love that attitude. I love it. I don't know if it's changing. I don't know. I'm anxious to do this video and post it. I'm hoping with our big subscriber base and viewer base that we'll learn more about Switzerland, from people commenting from there that actually know. Because I have seen, I don't know where it was, but I have seen postings from people, well, on some of our videos, I guess, maybe somebody else's too, but people from Switzerland, posting about various things and how some of those policies over there have changed a little bit. But I know historically, you train, if you're an able-bodied male, you're in the military training at whatever age, 18 and through 40 or something. You're actually, it's like our reserves. You train, you're ready to go at a moment's notice. You're a Minuteman, so to speak. Got your gun, got your ammo right there at the house, and you're ready. It's rather than having a standing army as the way we do, that traditionally Switzerland, just every able-bodied man was armed and ready to take action. And and they did not join in World War II, World War I. I guess I don't think they've been involved in the war for hundreds of years. I have to study my history, but it's just really cool, that philosophy and the way they operate, and that makes these guns even more interesting. So, I'll talk more about that in a video, or a little bit about it. I don't want to talk about anything I'm not sure about, but it's an interesting study, Switzerland is, and I'm anxious to hear from some people over there on what exactly is going on now, and from folks on the front line, so to speak, because everybody thinks they know what's going on. Switzerland's always talked about, when gun control comes up, and about half the time I'm not sure we're accurate with some of that information, but we'll see. But anyway, a couple of guns. Well, I've got a Glock 19 out here. Was maybe the Gen 4 was maybe going to shoot a little bit today. I don't know, I haven't shot that enough since we did the videos. Shot it a little bit. And then in terms of firearms out here, I have lying around. I guess that's about it for right now. That could change momentarily. You never know. So what else was I going to talk about besides guns? I guess guns is usually the primary topic, huh? You'd almost think this were a shooting channel if you didn't know better. And we try to keep it on that topic. There are things I sometimes am tempted to do a video on, things that have come up. But it's a shooting channel. Don't want to mix it up too much. We could turn into more of a reality show, I guess, if we wanted to. But we'll keep it firearms related for the most part. And that's the primary intention. Not get too goofy. We get a little goofy at times, don't we, though? What's going on? Well, let's see. Summer's here. I thought I'd mention that. Let's see. I'll probably be up at Friendship, Indiana, at the National Muzzleloading Shoot. If anybody's around there, watch for the biggest ugly guy walking around. Say hi if you see me. Probably one day next week. By next week, I mean the first week that Friendship is running. I don't think I'll be up on the weekend this time. And let's see what else is going on. I'd like to make Louisville Gun Day. I guess it's called a gun day. I know they have the big gun show. It's the weekend of the 9th and the 10th, this Saturday. Hoping to make that either Saturday or Sunday. That's a great gun show. I haven't been to that for a while. I mean, it's normally a good gun show. Sometimes I get surprised when I go. Not quite as big, but usually it's pretty good. They're at the fairgrounds in Louisville. And what else am I going to be doing here recently? They're coming up. I would say that any gun shop, now I've got a little time, not much time really, but I have more control over my schedule. I'd say any gun shop within about 500 miles is not safe, because I'll probably be showing up, scouring around. I'm a gun shop bum, whatever you want to call it. Always have been. I used to travel. Well, I didn't travel for a living, but the industry that I was involved in, for about 11 years, I traveled all over the eastern United States and the whole country for a while. But I would find gun shops. I can smell them. I'd find them anywhere. I could be in a rental car in New York or Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, anywhere. And obviously at that time, couldn't very well purchase a firearm or a handgun, especially, or anything. But I'd still hit the gun shops. You never know what you might find that would be useful. And just always been a gun shop bum. So like to check them out. And I know some new ones around I want to check out. But that's one of the things on my list for the next few weeks, for sure. I guess I always want to talk about some of the most recent videos, don't I, when I get on the radio. If I remember what the recent videos are since the last radio show, Reloading Room Ramblings. What have we done recently? Well, the Krag, of course, as I mentioned earlier. That's really an interesting firearm. If you ever get a chance just to pick one up in a gun shop, take a look at it. Pretty interesting loading mechanism there, magazine, very interesting, and a good gun, feels good. Of course, Teddy Roosevelt could tell us about it, and from what I've read, a lot of people really slam that gun as just being trash as compared with the Mauser, and then the 8mm, and then the 30-06 round and everything, and talk about the gun like it's an airsoft or something to take to war. And you always have to put all that in context. I've read different schools of thought on that, and one school of thought was something to the effect that it was tactics and the type of battle that we were engaged in, just different things, and training, all those sorts of things. The gun is really not that bad. It has limitations, as any firearm does, but sometimes the negative is overblown, as well as the positive, right, on something else. It's like well, I don't know if it's like this or not, but you'll see people make postings about the 40 caliber, about the 40 short and weak. Yeah, right. Because it's not as powerful as the 10mm. We all know the story, most of us, about how the FBI, after the Miami shootout, was looking for a new cartridge, something more powerful, penetration, whatever. Settled on the 10mm after extensive testing. And then, I guess as I have heard or read, the agents were having a hard time in the training. 10mm packs quite a wallop in recoil and everything, and at least in the guns they were using. And they did weaken it, so to speak, a lighter 10mm round, everything, and then decided the 40 was great because you get the same ballistics that they were finally, I guess, arriving at with that same bullet, in a firearm that would be smaller. And that's one of the attractions of the 40, of course. It's in a firearm the same size as a 9mm, but it does pack more punch than a 9mm. Bigger bullet, heavier bullet, that kind of thing. But the same folks that claim there's nothing but the 45 ACP. Anything less than that, 40 is a short and weak. It's a sissy round. That kind of thing. That kind of thing never really ends. So sometimes things just get overblown. It just depends on what you're comparing it with. Now obviously, if you want to play that game, I'll just talk 44 Magnum. Yeah, okay. 45 ACP is nothing, man. I got a 44 Magnum, and that's what I pack. Now I'll talk energy with you and velocity and all that, and I'll just make fun of your 45s and your 44 Special and your 10mm maybe even. I'll make fun of all those because I've got a 44 Magnum. But then my neighbor's going to make fun of me because he's got a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, right? He can make fun of my 44 Magnum. And then maybe somebody else will make fun of all of us because he's packing a shotgun full of slugs. There's no end to it, of course, in the arms race. And there's truth to all of that, except for convenience. And a handgun, yes, no kidding. I've shot more 44 Magnum than probably 99.9% of the people on the planet. So I'm well aware and can shoot the thing just fine. but it's too big to carry. And so is the 10 millimeter in a lot of firearms. It's bigger than I want to carry. And there's other issues with the 10 millimeter. You maybe politically or in court. We won't get into all that today. As far as a handgun, it's just you need something that is sufficient, and because no handgun round really is totally sufficient. We all know that. And, all the lines about the handgun is just to get you to a long gun and everything. But most of the time, there's not going to be a long gun it's going to get you to. That's why the handgun is a compromise. So people can argue about all that. And that's another topic, I guess. I could spend a whole radio show on bullet religion, cartridge religion. Maybe we'll do that one day. Just talk about the sacred altar of caliber. How's that? We'll talk about that one day. And speaking of recent videos, as I look back through the playlist, I don't have a computer here with me, but as I look back through the list, it's been fun lately. It's always fun, but a lot of the guns I've been playing with lately, the Glock 35 was fun to get back out. The 44 Magnum, that was great. This Krag, some guns you haven't seen yet. Well, you haven't seen lately. Had some fun with. We'd be posting just another revolver, lever gun. Just some things that I like, and I think a lot of you do too. So we've had some fun. Got a fundamentals coming up to be posting and things like that. There's just no end to having some fun. You saw us playing with the slide fire stocks too. We got the Bumpsky in from Fostech for the AK, and used the slide fire on the AR when we had to take care of the campers, right? So that was fun. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I had some issues. I was going to shoot the AK originally. I heard somebody outside there sneaking up on me. I was going to shoot the AK, and John was going to shoot the AR. It was a plan. And then we decided, let's put the blackout on it. We'll both shoot 30 caliber or thereabouts. And so I said, well, you can shoot the AK if you want. I'll shoot this. I wish I had shot the AK. A little bit of an issue there. It seems like every time, not every time, but I know there are 3 or 4 videos up where I'm shooting an AR, and I look like an absolute amateur, and maybe I am, because I don't really compete with them, and I'm not geared up to speed reload and do a lot of things. I don't do a lot of that, but I mean I can shoot a mag till it's empty, bolt locks back, pop another one in, release the bolt, keep firing. I mean, it's not brain surgery, but it just seems like there's something that goes on whenever I do that. And in the camper shoot 'em up video, started out with a Surefire magazine, and it hung up on me. Had 60 rounds in it. That was too bad. So then you get not only the malfunction, bolts not locked back, and you get the slide fire stock on there, and the nature of those slides moving, being not stable, that adds to a little bit of the awkwardness if you've got a clear malfunction and you're moving around. You're not used to that. And then I'll be darned, the second mag I had is a no-name steel mag, holds 40 rounds. I've had that thing forever, and then it normally works fine, but I think it hung up, but it was about empty, but it wasn't empty. It didn't lock the slide back. And so there was with both of the magazines, fumbling around with that, surprise. Okay. Good training, I guess, but and part of it may have been the 300 blackout round. In terms of being a heavier bullet, I don't know. But anyway, that was fun, and we really appreciate the campers bringing some of our favorite targets along. The 2 liters, and you may have noticed the 5-gallon jug there. Just like the ones that I pick up at a market over here in Springfield that have had oil in them or something, or cooking oil. So they had some of the same stuff we love to shoot. So that worked out. That worked out really well. I just really thank them for that, and for bringing some metal stuff along too. 'Cause it's always fun to shoot metal stuff, the chair and the grill. And John and I figured the campers probably are from China, because even though they didn't look Chinese when we met them the first time, most of the stuff they had there was from China, made in China. But I guess they had stopped at Walmart, picked up a lot of their camping gear and everything, had it all situated perfectly for us. So that was kind of nice of them. So anyway, we survived that, and no lawsuits or anything. Just worked out beautifully. Hey, one thing while I'm thinking about it, y'all can help me with on the channel. People leave a lot of questions, of course. I had this on the other channel format. If you recall, I had a whole page full of text and everything, and I guess I expected people to read that, at least at some point. If you're really into our videos, I figured they'd get all that read at some point, or I could at least just say read it, But there's still some people who don't realize that I don't answer questions that are posted on the bulletins generally. It's got to be a private message, because I just click reply, write something, and I can go on, because I get so many. But, when it's on the bullet, what's it called? Well, it's on the home page, on the home page when you leave a message. People are still asking a lot of questions, expecting me to answer those, and I really never have done that, because I've got to click on their name, go to their channel, send them go to send message and all that kind of thing, and put in a topic, and I know that, it doesn't sound like much, and like, well, poor Hickok, wow, we feel sorry for you. Well, it's when you're getting hundreds and hundreds, you're working your way through. That's just the way to help me. So I'm willing to answer some questions as many as I can that make sense, but I need to get them in the right spot where I can just click reply and type an answer and go on. Not that every answer I type is brief, or as some of you know, or that I even answer all of them, but I do answer most messages I get, and y'all know that. Now there may be somebody listening right now, sitting there by the pool in a Speedo or bikini. Hopefully it's female if you're sitting there by the pool in a bikini. However, we're an equal opportunity video maker, whatever. There may be someone out there listening who has written me and not gotten an answer or something, or even a couple of times. Sorry about that. Generally I do answer private messages. It's just easier to deal with it there. So try me again if you haven't, but most of you know what I'm talking about. You will generally get an answer, maybe a brief one, as long as the answer or the question and comments you send me are clear and not too long. It just kind of depends. The things that are the hardest, let me put it this way, when I have 25 or 30 or 100 that I'm working through, is when I open one and it's as long as my arm, or it's even a couple of long paragraphs, and it's the writing is very convoluted, and it's what, I'm having trouble even figuring out what the person's saying, that kind of thing, or just make it clear. And I will say I get some interesting private messages. I don't want to say never write 2 paragraphs or something to me, because I've gotten some really, really interesting information from you all. Just some really nice stuff. So I don't want to totally dissuade you from that. I guess what I mean is, if you just have a question about something that can be stated pretty simply, try to do that. I got a message last night that just came to mind, speaking of that just knocked me over, about a father and his son that had been watching the videos, not a young son, but and shooting and following us, and then his son passed away in March, and that kind of thing, just wow, but so I don't want to say, if you write any more than one sentence, I won't read it. That's not that kind of thing. But if you just have a question about something, just please keep it as concise as you can. And unless you're somebody I know, now this is not for my buddies. I've got some friends. Hopefully you're all my friends, but to some extent. But you know what I mean. I do use that medium to communicate with some folks that I've gotten to know pretty well, and so they know I'm not talking to them. I wish, in fact, I don't want to dissuade people from using private messages because that's where I communicate. I wish, in some ways, more people would do that. You know, the occasional troublemaker or grandstander or troll or whatever that some of these folks are. It's hard to know what to even call them. Some of them aren't really trolls. They're just people eaten up with hate or envy or something, and sometimes getting kind of clever about what they have to say. I wish some of those folks would just write me a message and tell me that they really don't like what we're doing because, and I do get a few of those. I do get a few, but boy, it's very few. And I try to encourage more hate mail, but it ends up, in a comment. And again, as I've stated before, the psychology behind that, the mentality there is, they don't seem to want to talk to me. They want to let everybody else know what they think. So they're not really interested in getting a message to me as much as to other folks and getting up on the stage, when they do that. But I wish they would just write me and say, you really shouldn't do that, or you really look stupid in that video, and then there's I might agree with them. I don't know, but at least that way, it can't be misinterpreted. That's the biggest value in it, I guess. It's not misinterpreted, because even if you have a legitimate criticism, at this point we get so many, well, not so many, but percentage-wise it's minuscule, but still, because of the activity, the large amount of activity, even a minuscule percentage, you get several comments, but you can't help but interpret it as, because it looks like grandstanding. Just like if I went on some other YouTuber's channel and tried to act like I knew more than they did or something, instead of writing them a letter, a private message, and telling them about maybe a mistake that they made in something, whatever it might be. So it can't help from being interpreted that way. So if they would send it to me directly as a private message, it would totally eliminate that possibility, wouldn't it? Because they're not grandstanding, they're not trying to put Hickok in his place and all that sort of thing on the big stage. They're just letting me know what they think privately, and I would have a lot more respect, no doubt about it. But anyway, I got off track there, maybe. I know. Yeah, I was asking you to help me remind people, possibly, that if they seem to have a serious question, just send it to me. It's funny. It was just the other day. There was somebody had a comment on one of the videos. Why didn't you answer my question, Hickok? I don't even know what the question was at that point. I don't think I could find the question. It might have been in a string of garbage I deleted. I don't know. But yes, why didn't you answer my question? Or why do you never answer my questions? Or something. I don't know. I don't even know who you are. Have you left questions? Where did you leave them? What were the questions? What video was it on? How many thousand comments were on that video? Did I even see any of the questions? Or so he was. You could just read he was peeved. He seemed to be peeved that I had ignored his question, on the video. So anyway, a lot of people still are kind of new. They don't understand how even YouTube works, much less how I work. I'm not even sure how I work. But anyway, for what it's worth. Another thing I thought I'd talk about, just recently I've been getting a lot of messages from people who are trying to get their own channel going. I've talked about this before, I think. And I don't know how many of those people would be listening to this, but I shouldn't say these kinds of things. I tend to assume only the most loyal supporters of the channel are listening to the radio shows, but who knows who's listening. And everybody is certainly welcome. I wish everybody listened to it. You might understand the channel a little better, right? You might understand my specific type of craziness a little bit better. But I do get a lot of requests to, again, to subscribe to people and promote them and to feature them on a channel and lots of things like that. And I just answered somebody this morning on that, you know, I get so many requests to do that if I subscribe to everybody that wanted me to subscribe to them, it wouldn't do any good. The only, you know, I'm not sure. Obviously, the fact we have a lot of viewers, they see who I subscribe to. Maybe it has some impact. But if I subscribe to 100 people or 500 people, then it doesn't really make any difference. All that's neutralized, you know. And then so long time ago, I just decided I probably wouldn't subscribe to that many people. I try to keep track of several folks, but just more or less people I've met, really, that I know. Really, almost every one of them I have met personally that I subscribe to and know personally. Many of them have been to the compound, you know, or I've met. You know, that's just kind of it, and just kind of the way that works. And so many people still writing and wondering what the secret is. You know, how do you get so many subscribers? How do you get subscribers? I'm trying to get a channel going, and same old advice, same thing I did. John and I, we just started making videos. That's all we did, and that's all we've done. That's all we do, really. We nothing else. Just made the videos. That don't recall even ever asking for people to subscribe. Even, you know, just people came. You know, just don't get in a hurry. Just enjoy what you're doing, making videos, and people will find them eventually. I think the only tip that I give some folks is that along the way, as you're making videos, you'll have one or two somewhere along the way that will just be more appealing, perhaps. Try to get a good idea on something that fits in with what you do, and just maybe knock it out of the ballpark on that particular one. And I don't know, send it around, send it to people, or you know, I did send a couple to various news outlets. You know, back a couple of years ago, a couple of those got out there. That helped a little bit. You know, I mean, some things like that might help. You can do a little bit of promotion that way. But by and large, just make videos you enjoy making, and it'll take care of itself, or it won't. It has been interesting to me in observing lots of folks and channels and different things. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You know, the old thing. I mean, you can get your channel out there and your videos out there. You could appear on Jay Leno tonight, or on Fox News, or on CNN, or wherever, and they could give you a 10-minute segment to show some of your videos, and you might pick up some. Definitely would pick up some subscribers, wouldn't you, and some views. But it would be a bump. But whether or not the people the thousands, that tens of thousands, whatever, that went and saw your videos, whether they subscribed or not would really just depend on whether they liked your videos or not. I really see that happening or not happening in various cases. People just have to like what you're doing. That's what it really comes down to. Enough to subscribe and put up with getting that email from some notification on another channel. And that's what it comes down to. That's just it. Just getting some publicity, my experience, is not enough. Ours just slowly built over time, over the 3 or 4 years we've been doing it, and it's no big secrets. Again, as I've said that before, that I know of. One thing I haven't talked about for a while, I ought to touch on it again. Over the years of shooting and competition, I've addressed this before. Just wanted to give you this sage advice one more time. There's so many new shooters out there. I hear from you, and people getting into firearms for the first time, learning everything that you can. watching goofy YouTube videos, and it must be a jungle. Oh wow, I cannot even imagine what it must be like, because I know as I learned more about firearms and different firearms I did not know much about, I knew a little bit about the Krag and like the Swiss rifle, different things. You know I have looked at gun racks and have seen eyeballed firearms in gun shops, gun shows, walking by, looking at them and thinking, what is that thing? There's an ugly gun, that piece of crap, And in reality, didn't realize it might have been like one of the Schmidt-Rubins or something. It could have been a Krag, could have been some collectible Mauser that at the time I just was not familiar with it. And I didn't know enough about them, about the differences, even looking at them, to differentiate necessarily between, let's say, a Mauser and a Springfield .3, or the whatever, the Krag, or the Japanese rifle, Arisaka. These guns, many of which I've been fortunate to demonstrate, in the last couple of years. So, and I'm a gun guy and have been a gun guy for a long time, and so that stuff just blends together and looks like rusty junk to me, and I don't know anything about it. I see all this stuff on the table, and if someone is talking about it or I ask a question, I'm not sure what they're saying, because I just don't know anything about them, and it's not even that important to me what they're saying about the gun, because I don't know the history of it, and it's not. But as I learn more about it, it becomes not only interesting but maybe fascinating. So I think about what it must be like to walk into a gun shop. You're 21 years old or 18, and you would think you want a handgun or a rifle and really don't know much about firearms. And I guess that's one of the reasons, quite honestly, the channel is fairly popular, is that we do go through so many of the popular firearms, and you get to see them up close and see them shooting and what I think about them and that kind of thing. But it just really must be a jungle out there for you. I know it's tough. So if you're one of those people, just learn what you can about. I guess what I did was, what I try to do is learn about the most common firearms, I guess, first, that most people seem to like or have, and kind of go from there. There's always the oddball firearm. It might be a great pistol, might be a great rifle, might be the gun you end up with and love forever. But you got to start somewhere, and I think it does help to stick with the tried and trues. If you're looking for a revolver, for example, a Smith & Wesson, hard to beat, isn't it? Double action revolver, maybe a Taurus, but depending on the model, and if you're looking for a pistol, semi-automatic pistol, good luck. Quite a few out there, aren't there? But you look at the main offerings from Ruger and Springfield, Glock, and maybe H&K, SIG. Who am I leaving out? I mean, there's all the companies make good guns, and Beretta. You go from there, to see what people say and like about them, and it all comes down again to what you're going to do with it. Lots of great guns out there. I like my Beretta 92 just fine. So I still have it. When did I get that? A couple of years ago. When I re-entered the Beretta 92 world, because I kind of missed having one. Well, I like that gun and don't plan to get rid of it anytime soon at all. Even though I criticized the trigger, double single action trigger, and the size of the gun, 9mm for such a big gun, all that. But it has historical value to me. It's our military sidearm. It's a great gun. Incredible quality, and all those things, and I like it. It's a Beretta 92. It's a classic. It's fun to shoot. Now, if I have limited funds and I'm looking for a gun to do everything with, to carry, I'm going to get a carry permit and carry concealed and maybe shoot it at the range too. Right? I just can afford one gun. In some ways, that's an advantage. Beware the man with one gun. He probably knows how to shoot it, right? Well, it's not going to be a Beretta 92. That'd be one of the last choices, okay, even though it's a great gun. So it is a jungle out there. It's because you might be looking at the Beretta 92 right now. You're in exactly the place I was talking about. You want a gun you can carry and shoot at the range, and you've heard, and you know someone's got a Beretta, you shot it one day at the range and could hit with it, and just a great gun. It's what the military uses. How could I do better? Great gun, great gun. Well, how many hours have you spent carrying that gun, and in what holster? How long have you ridden in a car with that gun holstered, concealed? Just there's all those questions you've got to ask yourself. What are you going to do with this firearm exactly? And how well can you shoot it? And are you going to practice and shoot a lot? And that gets into caliber. And I don't have any problem with big calibers as long as you're going to shoot, practice, become fairly skilled, hopefully, with that 45 or 10 millimeter or whatever it is, or 40. But anyway, it is a jungle, I know. It's tough. Try not to get too confused. Try not to listen to too many people. Sorry about that, right? John was calling. And I didn't want to erase and start over, but John's coming over to possibly do a video, and he's checking in there. There's a wonderful ring I have set on my phone, isn't it? I had some crazy music. I need to figure out what ringtone I want there, rather than whatever that is, cash register or something. But yeah, it is tough to decide what to purchase and what firearm you're going to want, and you will change whatever you get. You'll end up trading it or buying something else, and there'll be something where it's not perfect. We all are on a continuous quest for the best pistol, especially handgun, particularly if you're in well, most of us are in a handgun carry state in this country. A few are not, but most have that option. So if you're looking for something that's the ideal carry gun, then that is especially a quest that really never ends. The perfect gun, the perfect holster. And there is no perfect gun. There might be a holster that's close, but because what we all really like in the perfect carry gun, let me see, probably a PM9 would be about right, chambered in whatever caliber I just happen to want. Maybe a 10 millimeter PM9 size gun that holds, let's see, about 15 rounds and is sweet to shoot with very mild recoil. There you go. That'll get it. Or in 45 ACP maybe. A gun the size of my PM9, same weight, same reliability, chambered in 45 or 10 millimeter, 15 round capacity, 100% reliable, in the same size package. There you go. That's all I'm asking for. That's not too much to ask for, is it? I'm just asking for some manufacturer to defy the laws of physics. That's all. And there, I think I've hit the nail on the head, is the problem. We want smaller without giving up caliber or capacity. And, there's just a point where you have to compromise. You have to compromise, or else carry a big gun, Glock 20 or something, or a XDM 5.25, and then you got the big package, you've got the capacity and whatever caliber you want, you've got all that, but you've also got yourself a big gun, right? So, but anyway, it's a quest that we're all on, I guess, and it's actually kind of fun, though, isn't it? It gives us an excuse to trade and buy and argue. It gives us an excuse to argue about what the best gun is. Not only can we argue best caliber, we can argue the best gun. Yeah, so it gives us guys lots of little games to play, doesn't it? So anyway, I know it's tough, and I just wanted to run that by you again and let you know that you're not in some exclusive club if you're confused about all that. Just you don't get discouraged. It's that way for everybody. Even people who've been around guns for a while. Maybe if you're just starting out, you're in a better place in some ways because you haven't put a ton of money yet into firearms. There are a lot of people out there in their 20s that have probably sunk thousands of dollars into pistols, and they're still not satisfied or happy with what they have, and they're looking at something else, maybe something smaller. So look on the bright side. You haven't wasted a lot of cash yet. So just do your research. Watch a lot of YouTube videos. Yeah, there's some pretty good ones out there. There's some crazy people on YouTube, and I'm definitely one of those. But you might learn a little bit from that. I try to be honest in whatever gun I'm showing, and maybe I don't get into enough of I don't know, there's no into that. The first time I say this is a great gun but you wouldn't want to carry it, or this gun's too big to carry, of course I would be hammered into the ground, right? So, and I don't not say that because I'm afraid of what people would say. I don't say it because it's not necessarily true, because it depends on your situation. Some people pack around a big gun all the time. It just depends on what they do every day, what they wear, and what their daily schedule looks like. Whereas other people need a very small gun. They just don't have the option of anything with any size to it because of the way they dress or what they do for a living or just whatever it might be. So we don't know. Just don't know. All I can do, and any of us on YouTube can do, is to maybe do some comparisons and give you an idea how big these guns are. And of course you can go to shops and gun shows and see that for yourself, and help you with the holster selection, and let you know what we do, what we have found useful through our experience. And hopefully you can learn from that and just go ahead and make your mistakes, because you will. But the bright side of that is you get a cool gun out of the deal and the experience of shooting it, even if you decide later to get something different. I mean, you need to have several guns regardless, right? So just look on the bright side of that. Got a few of those myself, and I tell you though, when I start thinking about if I had to give up every gun except my favorite carry gun, or a couple that I'm actually going to carry, it really only comes down to a couple or three that are perfect carry guns, out of all the pistols I have. And again, that depends on what I'm wearing, so and how small it needs to be. So it's a jungle, but excuse me, it's a rainforest, but you'll get through it and you'll have fun doing it. Got to get past all the crusty old gun shop owners and clerks, I know that, but I'm beginning to see a little improvement in that area. I don't seem to encounter as many gun shops as I used to, where they don't seem to want to help you, or almost seemed irritated that you came in. There's still, too many of those around, of course, and they won't last long because they won't make a lot of money, will they? But I think gun shops generally are a little bit more helpful. It's a pretty competitive business, and they're trying to be more helpful. Sometimes it just comes down to finding the right clerk. There may be a shop that's pretty good, but there's only a couple of guys working there, or gals, that are really helpful, and there's a couple you might want to avoid. I don't know. But don't be afraid of them. They won't hurt you. You're there to spend your money, and they should help you any way they can, and they should be asking you a lot of questions. If you go in looking for a firearm and they're not asking you a lot of questions about how you're going to use it and that kind of thing, then you probably want to talk to somebody different. So, all right, I'm just full of wisdom today, aren't I? And advice. I will run your life for you. I am full of advice. So, I guess I better let you go. I've rambled enough here, and it's been fun visiting with you. Can't think of any place I'd rather be, really, than out here in the reloading room and talking to you guys, our most loyal viewers, I would guess. Reloading room is a cool place to be. I see pictures of my dad and my brother, who's passed away too, and my mother, who's gone. I see pictures of doggies on the wall that have passed away. Who do I see that's not passed? Well, there's a picture of Heather LaCroix. Fortunately, she's still with us. She sent me that photograph. It's a clean photograph. She's shooting a rifle. It's she did a little video. We had a little video exchange a year or so ago. What else do I see around here? I see all kinds of things, holsters and ammo, a couple of magazines, gun magazines, the kind you stick in a firearm that hold bullets. There's a couple that have articles in them too, the other kind of magazine. And these guns I was talking about. So it's a pretty good place to be. John will be here in a little bit. We're going to go out and maybe take a couple shots, maybe do a video. Don't know when we'll post this. But in a couple of days, D-Day is coming up, and that's pretty significant. We don't always do a video on those things. I didn't serve in the military myself, and I so don't want to overdo that kind of thing. But I do have a deep respect for those who did. I was busy, enjoying my basketball scholarship, my paid education, all involved in that. In the late 60s, that seemed a little more desirable to me than going to the rice paddies of Vietnam and that kind of deal at that time, and you had to be there. So it was so I didn't serve the time I got out of college and that sort of thing. The Vietnam was wrapped up, and it was just different times, but I didn't serve. But Dad did. He was at Normandy, and you've probably seen a video I talk about some of that. He was in a truck company there and was involved in transporting to the beaches at Utah Beach. And I've got a picture of him standing on Utah Beach, I guess the next day or +2, whatever. And he trained with the Garand, carried the M1 carbine, carried the 45, the government model, and he has shot all of those except for the Garand here on my range. I was sorry that I did not buy a Garand before he passed away, because he would talk about that and we'd be at a gun show together. And at the time, I didn't have as much interest in it, and that's the way it goes, isn't it? But I was thinking about him, where he was this week, like today, 2 days before, preparing for that invasion, and how busy he would have been today, back in 1944. But that was a great generation, no doubt about it. Those folks sacrificed a lot, and it was a dramatic time, really, very dramatic time. So we certainly appreciate all their sacrifice so that we can enjoy the life we enjoy. And I guess I'll sign off here. You guys have a great week. I hope you get a chance to shoot and enjoy this wonderful sport, wonderful hobby. And by all means, keep the trespassers from camping on your property. If you need me to come and help you out, I'll be glad to do that. But please, if you can, maybe post a sign or encourage the trespassing campers on your property to do what the trespassers around here do, apparently. Bring targets that are just wonderful targets along for their camp, okay? Get them to bring some 2 liters and 5-gallon jugs and ammo boxes and lots of 12-ounce cans, okay? Please do that, and I'll come and help you eradicate that problem. Alrighty? You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. I'll see you on the tube. You've been listening to the Hickok45 radio show. See you on the range.